Sofia Ahmed Said, Research Scholar, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Government Arts College, Trivandrum. It's time to draw a curtain to our webinar series as we come to a close of it. It's a matter of immense pride. I welcome you all to the 10th and final session of our Saturday webinar series. Today's session deals with best practices in paper submission and ethics in publication. And we have an eminent resource person, Dr. Biju AV, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, School of Business Management and Legal Studies, University of Kerala, to handle this session. Now, I invite Rahul R., Organizing Secretary and Research Scholar, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Government Arts College, Trivandrum, to deliver the welcome speech.
Thank you, Sophia. A very good evening to all. Respected resource person of the day, Dr. Biju AV sir, our principal, Dr. Sheila KL ma'am, our research coordinator, Dr. VM Purushothaman sir, other supervising guides, other faculty members of department and government arts college, research scholars, participants, and organizing committee members. As today, a warm Saturday evening embarks the end of Saturday webinar series and adds a golden feather in the history of Research Forum, Government Arts College, Thiruvananthapuram. With immense pleasure and pride, I hereby inform you all that this is the first webinar initiative in the history of Research Forum of Government Arts College, Thiruvananthapuram, which is completely organized on WebEx digital platform in line with the norms due to the COVID pandemic. Research Forum Government Arts College, Thiruvananthapuram has successfully organized 9 webinar sessions with all your support and participation. The webinar series sessions covered most relevant topic in this competitive scenario of commerce discipline, which was quite useful to many. It is my privilege and honor to accomplish the duty which is entrusted to me to welcome this August virtual gathering. Today, we have with us the most efficient and enthusiastic person, Dr. Biju AV sir, feeling proud to tell that he was former research supervising guide of our college. At present, he is an assistant professor of Department of Commerce, University of Kerala, and he acts as the editorial member of reputed international journals. He is also a famous academician in University of Kerala. Dr. Biju AV sir will be inaugurating today's and final session of Saturday webinar series by rendering a class for us on the topic best practice in paper submission and ethics in publication. With all pleasure, due respect, I, on the behalf of Research Forum, wholeheartedly welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much for the
Now,
opportunity.
I would like to welcome our principal, Dr. Sheila KL ma'am, for this session. Welcome, ma'am. Next, I would like to welcome our research coordinator, Research Forum President, Dr. VM Purushothaman sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Government Arts College. Welcome, sir. Next, I welcome all the supervising guides and faculty members of Department of Commerce, Government Arts College. Welcome all. Last but not least, I welcome all the participants and all the research scholars of the Government Arts College for the webinar. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Now, moving on to the important part of the webinar. But before that, there is a gentle reminder that please make sure your mic is always on mute, and if any queries and clarification is there, please post it in the chat box and you will be answered in the Q&A session. Without any further delay, let's hand over the session to our resource person, Dr. Biju AV sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, School of Business Management and Legal Studies, University of Kerala. Now, the platform is all yours, sir.
Thank you for the welcome speech by Rahul and respected dignitaries, respected principal of Government Arts College, and respected research convener of Government Arts College. Shall I start my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I will share one paper recently. I got it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can read that. The paper title is Bullshit in the Sustainability and Transition Literature, a Provocation. So what did you understand? Actually, I will be speaking around 40 to 45 minutes, and after that there will be a discussion session. So it's like an interactive session. So you can see that paper title, Bullshit in the Sustainability and Transition Literature, a Provocation. So this is a paper written by Julian Karcher, and it was published in Circular Economy and Sustainability. So anyone, can you please unmute your mic and speak up about this title? What about this title speaks? It's a very recent paper, and it was published in 1st May 2022. So you are not unmuting the participant's mic, or may I know this procedure? The participants may not be able to speak in between, right?
The participants can unmute, sir.
Mute and speak, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So anybody can speak. What does it shows? It shows, the title shows the bullshit in the sustainability and transition literature.
So is it showing some negative aspect of the sustainability and transition literature?
It shows some negatives of the literature. It shows the negatives of publications. So there are, recently after this UN Sustainable Development Goals to be accomplished by 2030. So afterwards, there are a lot of literature speaking about sustainability. But this paper proves that these sustainability papers are recycled papers and not proper papers. So that's the argument of this paper, and this paper was published. So the paper was published in the sense that this paper is telling some truth. That means the argument by the author is correct. Okay, correct as marked by the reviewer. That means they have proved based on the papers which were published in the related journals. Sustainability is a keyword, and the sustainability related papers were published in in selected journals, like so one of the journals name itself sustainability, and there are other related climate change, a lot of journals, and this author trying to speak that 50% of the total papers are recycled and they do not give any new ideas. Okay, so similarly we can state we can say the crypto. So there are a lot of crypto. There are category academicians, known as crypto academicians. They do write papers in favor of the crypto, even though the crypto market is crash landed. Okay, but there is nothing truth about these positives of crypto market. Okay, so this is a basic scenario in which I am going to talk about my lecture. The ethics of paper submissions. Okay. So got it? You can interact, you can intervene anytime you want. Can you see my screen, the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir.
So the slide is visible, right?
Yes.
It's visible, sir.
Okay. So this is research and publication ethics. I think many of you, essentially requires to write the coursework examination, and the UGC has insisted recently the coursework examination one paper is research and publication ethics. So some of the portions as specified by UGC for that coursework examination, I will do cover, and it will be helpful for writing that paper also. Okay. So what is research ethics? There are some code of conduct for research. So you are all PhD scholars, sometimes faculties, but uh, uh, by the time we are preparing papers or preparing thesis, preparing dissertations, we have to have an ethics. So that ethics matters. If you do not follow the ethics, you will be there is nothing like arrest, something like punishment and all, but you'll be marked by some people in future that your work is wrong. So that you have to have a standardization, or you have to work hard. I mean to your work should be perfect as possible. Then only you will be appreciated by the future generations or future latent readers. So that's what I mean. So it's like research is not a easy process. So we have to have an attitude of hard working. Without proper hard work, by doing some shortcut methods, some doing copy and paste, this is not research, and you will be like blacklisted. So later, and you will not get proper publications, so your paper will not be accepted when you do these shortcuts. So all over the world, you can see journal indices, journal metrics like ABD's index, Scopus, Web of Science. So these indexes are implemented with the objective of maintaining quality research. Somebody is giving request. Who is Crystalline? Is it okay? The slide is visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm speaking about the regulations of research and the procedure of maintaining the academic integrity. So you people are you people should definitely maintain the academic integrity. Then only you will be accepted. Otherwise, you will be marked as a person of shortcut method, the person of plagiarism and all. And this shortcut will not help you to reach a position or long-term objectives, your long-term goals. So you should be maintaining proper academic integrity. See, we are all academicians. the growth part of us depends on the publications. The importance of ethics in research, it promotes ethical behavior. So there are ethics when we prepare papers, when we publish papers, when we prepare dissertations, there are ethics to follow that. So if the ethics in our mind, our paper will be like a good paper, so it will be published. So it ensures scientific progress of literature in the world. So again, I have shown on paper that is the bullshit in sustainability literature. That paper itself speaks about the bullshit in sustainability literature. So this paper this paper was intended. There are some academicians, they did some unethical behavior in their papers. So it is good for college reputation. It develop and regulate the research. So there is an agency which scrutinize, which examine the unethical behavior of authors as well as journals in the world. That agency is known as Committee on Publication Ethics, and this is a forum for editors of peer-reviewed journals to discuss issues related to the integrity of the scientific record. So when you submit papers, you just check it out whether the journal you are intended to submit the paper are the member of COPE or not. If the journal is not a member of COPE, that means your paper is not protected. So first you check it out. All standard journals, all good journals, all index journals are a member of COPE. Okay, if you see some website of the journals, they specifically stated they are the member of COPE. So the COPE, investigates the author's unethical practices. They report, and after that, the author will be blacklisted. Sometimes the problem is when you submit when you conduct an unethical behavior in publication. After the COPE investigates on the unethical behavior, they find the unethical behavior was conducted. So what happened? They do report your name and details to the. Please unmute your mic. Please mute your mic, participants. They do report your name and your credentials to the affiliating university. So when you submit papers, you just specify that you are affiliated to University of Kerala. They will send papers, the report to the University of Kerala or your affiliating college, etc. So regarding this unethical behavior, and further what will happen, they will blacklist the particular author. Hope I am audible and you are getting my point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So should an author be banned? The banning is not a policy endorsed by COPE. So if you submit a paper to a particular journal and you violate some ethics, your data was cooked up, or sometimes you have copied some figures from some other paper, and the editors, they have identified your unethical behavior. And that means what I said in the beginning, you will not be arrested by the police and all, but they may blacklist. Okay, they may blacklist and they won't accept further papers of you. Okay. So this is a very important thing. Authorship. Not recently, every academicians, successful academicians, their success factor depends on collaborations. So if we have collaborations, then we can be able to produce more papers. So the collaborations is the best solution for more publications, more citations, etc. So when a person individually trying for to publish paper, it will take long time. 1 year we can be able to publish one paper at least, because due to the paucity of time and a lot of effort is needed. So that nowadays you can see that a lot of authors in one paper, sometimes 5 authors in one paper, 6 authors in one paper, 7 authors in one paper. In some of the medical journals, you can find that 15 to 20 authors in one paper. There is no problem in that. Everyone getting the importance or significant part in the paper. So that the authorship is important. Who is an author? So sometimes 15 authors contribute one paper. So each author has a specific contribution to the particular paper. So what is authorship? Authorship should be limited to those who have made a significant contribution to the conception, design, execution, or interpretation of the reported study. Okay, so you should give a significant contribution. Then what is significant contribution? So I will explain. These are the criteria for an author. So the first one is substantial contribution to the study, conception and design, data acquisition, analysis and interpretation. So what is a substantial contribution? So if you are in the collaboration, and sometimes, for instance, 5 authors in the collaboration. So we will meet regularly and check the progress of the work. So while in the process of meeting, the first meeting, maybe the title and the idea may be generated, and further meetings, the further progress are prepared, like literature review part, who will be done the literature part, who will be responsible for data analysis, who will be responsible for data collection, who will be responsible for the theoretical linkage, who will be responsible to write discussions. So the work can be divided, and by the time the work can be divided, some people, they are taking the important position. So they may be the person who gives the idea or theme of the paper. So that person may be the first author usually. So based on the contribution, we can, prioritize the authorship. The first author, he is the person who provides the idea of the paper. He is taking initiative for the collaborations. 5 or 6 people were added. And if you do not have any kind of this authorship, who is the first author, who is the second author, who is the third author, and after completion of the paper, there may be a conflict of interest, and there may be a conflict among the authors. So someone may tell, I will be the first author. The other person may be also interested to become the first author. And somebody says that they wanted as a correspondent author. So correspondent author, right? The person who take initiative to submit the paper to the journal, and he, there is a process called the cover letter. What is cover letter? So cover letter is the letter to the editor. So by the time when we submit papers, we have to prepare a cover letter which shows the significance of the paper and the impact of the paper in the journal, how the paper is best suited to the journal, etc. Okay, so this should be
Excuse
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
What about right now?
Yeah, now it's okay, sir.
Okay, so in between my voice is, if my
Yeah.
voice is breaking, you just tell me, then I will change. There is a range issue over here.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
so
Now,
right now it is
now,
okay, right?
yeah, now it's okay, sir.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Then, yeah, then agreement to be accountable for all aspect of the work related to the accuracy or integrity of any part of the work. Okay, so this is clear. This slide speaks about the authorship. Okay, so I will be explaining the detailed part of the authorship and the conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest is another certificate you essentially request to submit while in the process of submission. Some journals specifically require, some journals they don't require the conflict of interest, but if your paper after review, the paper will be accepted sometimes, and if the paper is accepted, they must require the conflict of interest. So if they publish the paper without checking the conflict of interest, after publication some author says that this is not my contribution, this is against ethics, then the journal will be in trouble. So two certificates, the first one is the cover letter of the correspondent author, and the second one is the conflict of interest. So the author should not have a conflict of interest. That's the certificate we essentially request to be given to the particular journal. So unacceptable authorship. This is against the ethics. Again, there is a ghost authors. The ghost author, who contribute substantially but are not acknowledged, often paid by the commercial sponsor. Okay. So you might have experienced these kind of things. There are people who they write papers. So somebody wanting, because of there are academic placement, PhD submissions, so that the students and academicians they want papers to be published. Sometimes they are not in a position to write a papers, or they don't have the skill to write a paper. So they will approach these ghost authors. You might have got a call from many people. They do help for the publications and all. Okay. So, these ghost authors, they contribute substantially, but their name is not in the paper. So, the person who wants the publication will pay some money. Not audible. Am I audible right now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
But someone, someone has in the chat box is not audible. So I will change this, please. Okay. So these, what about right now? Audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Okay. So these ghost authors, you understand the ghost authors, right? Okay. So ghost author means they contribute substantially, but their name is not in the paper. Okay, that's the ghost authors. That means the paid publications. They may charge and they are getting money for writing papers, and these papers will be published in the name of some other persons who paid the money. Then there is a ghost author who make no contributions. But if we include the name of that person, that means there is a chance to accept the papers. But there is a wrong notion that the good journals, they will accept papers after reviews. Okay. But sometimes if the paper is prepared in a lucid way, if the name of some persons, important persons, very significant persons or Nobel laureates, their name is in the paper, sometimes the paper may be accepted. So these people are known as guest authors. And there is another category authors, that is gift authors. So this is very common to you all. Maybe you are research supervisor. So some chat message. I don't know, the host can look on these chats.
Yes, sir. We can look the chat. We can see the chat, sir.
Okay. So I'm not able to check the chats right now. So I'm presenting. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you please share the PPT in full screen, sir?
Yeah, sure. So gift authors, maybe your research supervisor. Whenever you write papers, the research supervisor's name should be included as an author in the paper. That is a notion, that is a concept right now, but there is no hard and fast rules. So whenever you write a paper, you have to include your research supervisor's name during the tenure of the PhD. Okay. So when you have some other collaborations, you can easily run through it. No need to, as per the research ethics says, the author should be contributed. So whoever the authors, if the 5 authors or 6 authors should be contributed. So a person without contribute to the work may not be included as an author. Okay. So these are the type of, authorship. Then unethical practices in authorship. So which includes submitting a manuscript without the permission of an author, a contributor who contributed the manuscript. So sometimes it may happen. So there are 5 people, they collaborated and they started working of a paper. And after somebody saying not audible. I think I'm audible, right?
You're audible, sir.
It's audible, sir.
Okay. So the people who says not audible, they can check their connectivity. Okay, that may be the problem. I think I am perfect right now. So sometimes it's like a disturbance whenever you sometimes you intervene like not audible. My it's total path may be disturbed. Okay, submitting a manuscript without the permission of an author contributor who contributed to that manuscript. So that may be a conflict of interest. So there is a debates and discussions may be conducted during the tenure of the paperwork. So some authors may not agree to the other authors. So there is a 5 people, for instance, 5 people are collaborating, and by the process of the work, some people are not agreed the others view, some kind of other inclusions, exclusions, etc. Some discussions, some debates. Sometimes some authors may be back out from the publication. So if one author back out, and after that the same paper will be submitted, then there is a problem. Okay. So that problem should be avoided, and the order of authors should be agreed before starting writing a manuscript. So this is the slide. This slide shows the contribution. First, author who conducts or supervises data analysis and proper presentation and interpretation of results. So puts the paper together and submits it to the journal. and the co-authors, makes intellectual contribution to the data analysis and contribute to the data interpretation and reviews each paper draft. So there are a lot of draft, the first draft, second draft, third draft. So a lot of corrections, a lot of copy editing things can be done before preparing, while in the process of preparing a paper. So it's able to, so all the authors should be contributed well. So some work allocations in between the copy editing and checking grammatical corrections and theoretical linkages, etc. So everyone should be contributed as well. So if a person, back out, or he's like a lazy person without contributing anything, then there is a problem with the authors. Is able to present results, defend implications, and discuss study limitations. These are the role of first authors and co-authors, etc. So this International Committee of Journal Editors policy, they specifically stated that the author should substantially contribute to the conception and design, acquisition of data, or analysis and interpretation of data, and draft the article or revise it critically for important intellectual content, give their approval on the final version to be published. So if any one of the author is not approved the final submission, then there is a problem, and then there is a conflict of interest. So we should be careful with this conflict of interest. So then next very important thing is plagiarism. So you know plagiarism well. I think everybody is informed about the plagiarism. There are plagiarism softwares. In our university, we are using Authenticate and Original. So Original, the previous name was Urkunt. So the Authenticate is a platform of Turnitin Check. Okay. So these two platforms are significantly, we are using it for plagiarism check. So Original is like a platform, it's very less powerful, what I say. So less powerful, and Authenticate is a sharp, powerful plagiarism software. So when you check with the Urkunt, sometimes you will get 10%. The 10% derived from the Urkunt. When you check the same document with Authenticate, it will be like 25%. So that is more powerful. So some of the journal, they essentially requires the plagiarism check report while in the process of submission of the manuscript. So it is better to submit a paper with after checking the plagiarism, and you find that some of the areas in which copying has been done, and you might have experienced a report of plagiarism check, and they shows the block wise report. Some of the block in which some of the paragraphs in which 100% plagiarism, 90% plagiarism, 75% plagiarism. And this may happen, when we paraphrase some other's work, the same wordings may be repeated. This is quite common, but we should be careful about the block paragraph wise plagiarism. It should be limited to less than 50%. Okay, altogether the content plagiarism, sometimes the total plagiarism will be 10%, but when you see the detailed report, some of the blocks, it's like 90%, 95%. That means you are fully copying that paragraph. That is not permitted by the editors. So in the detailed report, you can see that some of the block in which you are copied 90%, 80%, 75%, and you can again re-paraphrase those areas and limit it to 50%. That means reduced below 50%. That will be good or a standardized thing. Okay. So there are
Excuse
different.
me, sir.
Yes. Please ask. Yeah, I am hearing. I'm not hearing your question right now. Are you intended to ask something? Hello.
Sir, you can continue.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so plagiarism takes different forms from literal copying to paraphrasing someone's work. So this paraphrasing is essentially, when you prepare papers, the literature review part is very important. So in literature review, we have to have a thematic review of literature by linking the past work on the theme in which we are working right now, and based on that, we are finding the research gap. So paraphrasing is a very important thing while preparing, and I would say that this paraphrasing is a skill of a research scholar. How can we check plagiarism? Okay. So I will address all these questions. I think after 7:45, right? I will address all these questions. So levels of plagiarism. There are different levels of plagiarism. I said how much of someone's work was taken, a few lines, paragraphs, pages, the full article, etc. What was copied, result, method, or introduction section, etc. So when you submit, your papers, the editors, they have the journal, they have an inner mechanism to check the plagiarism. So there is a process, desk review. After the desk review, only your paper will be submitted for a review process. And when you submit the papers, and your paper will be in the hands of the desk journal assistants by the time like 1 to 2 weeks. These 2 weeks time, they do the initial checkings, tables, figures, and they do check the contents of your paper, and they finalize, and they find that if there is a plagiarism, they will return back the paper. That means your paper is desk rejected. So they find that your paper is good, and the plagiarism level is minimum, and the similarity limit is as per the standard. So after that, only they will send the paper for reviews. Okay, that's the process. So you should be careful about the plagiarism. In the same time, the same line, your thesis and dissertation, you should be careful about the plagiarism, and your paraphrasing skills has to be improved to reduce the plagiarism. While doing the paraphrasing, you remember another important thing, that something like the main author, the author in which you are taking the literature review, that author speaks something which is very clear. Sometimes the researcher writes something which is against the author said. This is very, very dangerous thing. So when you write something which is against or which is not that author said, this is punishable offense. This is also against the ethics. Some people, they simply write something and give a citation to some others. So that's not a proper thing. Okay. So literal copying, reproducing a work word for word in whole or in part without permission and acknowledgement of the original source. So without proper citation, you are writing something, and you are writing something without citation means the general conception is it's your contribution. So when you write something without the citation, that means your contribution, but your contribution should be a real your contribution. So you should be careful about writing things without proper citations. The next is substantial copying. Substantial includes both quantity and quality of what was copied. If your work captures the essence of another work, it should be cited and credit should be given to the original author. So this can include research material, process, tables, equipment. So again, the substantial copying should be eliminated. So paraphrasing, reproducing someone else's ideas while not copying word for word without permission and acknowledgement of the original source. So this was I discussed. Okay, I'm skipping this slide. So and it's again another problem, that is test recycling. So what I shown in the beginning, that sustainability, the bullshit of sustainability, the bullshit of cryptocurrency matters. These academicians, what they do is they recycle. So whenever there is an idea, they will be split into 3 to 4 parts, and they do prepare papers and submit to different journals. So this is known as text recycling or self plagiarism. So when we so one thesis, for example, another example, when we do a thesis or a dissertation, and this dissertation is split into 3 parts and 3 papers will be prepared based on dissertation and submit to the journal. So this is known as text recycling. There is no value on it because the same insight is giving it same dissertation, and the same insight will be given by the paper also. That means you are running against the research ethics. So one insight should be given by one work only. So this is known as text recycling or self plagiarism. This also should be avoided. Then duplication of text or figures, plagiarism. Plagiarism occurs when someone presents the work of others, data, text, or theories, as it bear his or her contribution without proper acknowledgement. Okay. So this is editors always, they are first the paper I shown that the author, he was observing the things, the literature conducted in sustainability. If you find there are a lot of papers published in sustainability, the basic themes, especially sustainable finance. So the insight derived from the papers are the same, or there is nothing much new insight. I'm not criticizing the entire literature based on sustainability. I'm criticizing some of like less than 50% of the work which are recycled. Okay. This is another problem, that is simultaneous submission. So there are people, they are unknown about the ethics, and what they do submit the same paper simultaneously, 1, 2, 3 journals. Okay, 3 to 4 journals. They will submit simultaneously same paper to 3 journals. What happened? Sometimes the 2 journals accepted, means whenever they get the paper, if the paper is good, they submit, send it for reviews. So your paper is good. If your paper is good, they submit for reviews, and after reviews, the 2 papers simultaneously accepted, and you are not bothering with things because you don't know the ethics. And finally, the 2 papers were published by this journal, 2 journals. This is a crime actually. So the same papers published by 2 journals. Okay, this is a crime, and this is a publication ethics. You will be blacklisted after that. This is also you check into account simultaneous submissions. You should, so whenever a paper is submitted to the journal, you have to wait. If the paper is rejected only, then after that you can submit the same paper to some other journals. Okay, some journals, they have the transfer option. So whenever the editor of the journal rejected your paper, and the journal administrators, they find the same paper, they will send for the other journals. This is transfer. The Springer, Sage, they do have the transfer mechanism. Your paper is not suitable for the particular journal in which you submit, and the Springer find that your paper may be suitable to some other journals of the Springer, and they do take initiative, and they do intimate you your paper, your paper is suitable for some other journals of the Springer, and you can submit, and you will get an intimation for that. You just accept it, and your paper may be transferred to the other journals, and it will be published further. Okay, So this is about the simultaneous submission. So there are some research fraud. I think it's 750, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, I think so I can take your questions and all. I'm stopping here. I will share my YouTube channel link, and you can see the entire part of this presentation here. So right now you can ask questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable session. Now it's time for discussion. We are moving to the Q&A session of the webinar, and it will be handled by Swati S., Research Scholar, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Government Arts College, Trivandrum. Participants can now raise your queries in the chat box.
Thank you, Sophia. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Swati.
Good evening, everyone. So moving on to the question answer session. The first question by Laminlan is, how can we check plagiarism in online for free? And is it trustworthy, the ones that are free in Google?
No, this is not proper way in which you check the plagiarism through online. So you can subscribe, or your institution can subscribe the plagiarism softwares. So the major plagiarism software, as I explained, that is Turnitin Check, Authenticate, and Urkund. These are the major softwares, and the UGC has been preferred over this Urkund. This is a very minor, less powerful software. But if you submit papers in A-star journals, A category journals, you essentially request to check through Authenticate. So they want the report of the Authenticate while in the process of submission. And for PhDs, you know, so depends on the universities. IITs and IIM, they do follow the Turnitin report. They do believe the Turnitin and Authenticate report. Especially the science category, science people, they do check with Authenticate. And you check with the university, affiliated university. The university, for instance, the Kerala University, we have two softwares, that is Urkund and Authenticate. So the affiliating colleges also, they can check with the Authenticate platform as well as Urkund platform through the library. So all the universities, I think they have their own mechanism for the plagiarism checking. So it is mandatory while in the process of submission of the thesis.
Okay. Next question is by Kirti. What is the percentage of plagiarism permitted in PhD thesis of Kerala University?
The Kerala University, it is 10%.
Okay. Another question by Kirti is, some online plagiarism checking softwares are available online. Is it safe to check our work on such sites?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Otherwise, your manuscript may be wasted. So when you submit the manuscript to the plagiarism checking, they do have the database of you, data or the manuscript of you, and they may misutilize the manuscript. Sometimes your manuscript may be wasted because of their manipulations and all. So when you check the plagiarism, you check with the authentic people. So if you are university library, so that may be a good option.
The next question is by Muttu. How to identify the fake journals?
Yeah, this is another topic. You can check with my YouTube channel. It is available. The clone journals and fake journals. You can check. First of all, you have to check the index. The journal is indexed or not. So again, there is an index also very problematic situation. So you can check whether the journal is indexed or not. First of all, when you submit a paper, you check, you go to the website of that journal. So if the journal is having a website, that is another very important thing. If the journal is having a website, you can check, go to the website and find that whether the journal is indexed in Web of Science or a Scopus or a UGC Care List or a Google Scholar, etc. Okay.
Audience, please mute your mic and ask questions in the chat box.
Okay.
So the next question by Renjita is, if we convert our MPhil thesis to a book as publication, will it come under plagiarism?
Yeah, but for that you have to have a paraphrasing over your MPhil work, and in a different version you can present it as in the form of a book. It is not as such, it is not to be published.
Okay. Sorry, audience. Due to the time limit, we are cutting short the Q&A session. Remaining queries can be forwarded in the mail ID. The last question by Jagadishwari is, what is the main problem with plagiarism?
What is the main problem with the plagiarism means, if plagiarism is very important thing, that is, it shows the research quality. The plagiarism is implemented for making of the quality reports. So if you copy and paste somebody's work, there is no meaning on it. So the plagiarism is very important. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for your active participation. Over to you, Sophia.
Thank you, Swati, for handling the session. Thank you, everyone, for your queries. A gentle reminder to everyone, the feedback link will be posted in the chat box. Do check that out. The link will be active for 20 minutes after the session. Now, I invite Azim R, Research Forum Secretary, PG and Research, Department of Commerce, Government Arts College, Trivandrum, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to one and all. I am Azim R, a research scholar and the Secretary of Research Forum, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Government Arts College, Trivandrum. Respected principal, our most valued resource person, HOD, teachers, research scholars, and most beloved participants. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Commerce, the entire fraternity of the college, first of all, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our resource person, Dr. Biju Evi, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, School of Business Management, Legal Studies, University of Kerala, who spared time for us from his busy schedule. He enlightened us with his knowledge. Today's webinar is full of knowledge and new information. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Azim, and yeah, okay, you are continuing, right? Okay.
Yes. Next, I express my thanks to our principal, Dr. Sheila ma'am, in her absentia, for his guidance and support for this workshop. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank our research coordinator, Dr. V.M. Purushothaman sir, for his support and guidance for this program. Further, a big thanks to our beloved HOD, Abda ma'am. Her support and encouragement for this program is immensible. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I express my sincere thanks to Rahul, research scholar and organizing secretary of this webinar series, who presented a warm welcome to this occasion. Thank you, Rahul. Now I express my heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee of this webinar series for their willingness and involvement to take on the completion of the work beyond their comfort zone. Last but not least, I express my thanks to all participants for your presence and active participation throughout the program and make this webinar a success. I would like to also thank all the previous presenters, Akshik Ajay Kumar, Dr. Arun Lawrence, Dr. Binoy Joy, Dr. Arunama KV, Dr. M. Suganya, Dr. Rajani B. Bhatt, Sri Rohit Agarwal, Dr. Nimida Abubakar, Dr. Daisy Samuel. Thank you all. We all thank you for being with us. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Shall I?
Azim.
Okay.
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. So thank you so much for the organizers, the Arts College Research Scholars team, and the principal and research convener, and the people who are taking initiative for this kind of venture. And I find that a lot of participants across the country have joined it. So this is a very good thing, memorable event. So I thank Rahul and Ashim, and I thankful especially Rahul for the opportunity to pick up with this event. So thank you so much. Best wishes to the participants, best wishes to the organizers, and I look into the future programs of the Government Arts College Researchers Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for taking out time for us from your busy schedule, and I sincerely appreciate and thank our resource person, Dr. Biju AV sir, for his knowledgeable session. Now, we are coming to the end of our webinar series. This webinar series was made possible by many hands, hearts, and minds working together. On behalf of Research Forum and this institute, we sincerely thank you all for being with us throughout our journey. I shower my heartfelt gratitude to all our resource person and to our principal and everyone of our institution for their wholehearted support rendered in the success of the webinar series. The end of the story is the new beginning of many others. On this note, we are concluding our Saturday webinar series. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Good night.
I'm leaving. Thank you.